How do we build a brand as a photographer? By building a brand, we can actually begin to get clients to approach us to work together. We increase our perceived value, appear more professional, and stand out from a sea of competition. But building a brand isn't easy when there are a dozen other things that we should be doing as photographers. I actually have a controversial opinion about photography branding. If you're a beginner, it's not something you actually need to focus on if your goal is to get clients and make money. That might seem like I'm contradicting myself here, but I'm going to explain exactly what I mean and teach you the best way to build a brand as a photographer. If this is your first time here, my name is Chris Pieta. I run a product photography company and I teach creative business online through my education company, Creative Biz Launch. Real quick here, if you're not subscribed to my free email newsletter, Creative Biz Weekly, I've got a link down below for that. We actually just crossed 4,000 subscribers, which is crazy. Every week, I send creative biz tips on getting clients, pricing, and entrepreneurship. Issue number 75 is coming out next week, so sign up for that below for free. All right, let's talk about photography branding. Let's start by defining what branding is. What does a brand mean to me? When I say a brand like Apple, you automatically think expensive, premium, great phones. When I say Toyota, you think reliable, good value. When I say Amazon, you think fast delivery, good customer service. These companies have spent decades and millions of dollars building their brands, building their reputation, and building up this idea of what they are, what their values represent. Simply put, a brand is your reputation. It's what people think of your company when they hear it. It's the perception of your company. Now, that being said, a creative business isn't going to become a household name like Amazon, but maybe you'll be known in a smaller circle, in more specific niches like jewelry photography or the jewelry space, or the Chicago wedding photography space. When most photographers start out on their journey of trying to get clients and make money, they have a list of things they think that they need to do in their heads. For most of us, when we start getting into the business side of photography, we feel lost. We're creatives first. That's what we know. We're not business experts. With this comes a lot of room for mistakes. And one of the first mistakes that we make is approaching photography branding the wrong way. Now, if you resonate with any of the things I'm about to say next, please know I'm not here to criticize anyone or make anyone feel bad. My mission is to provide creative business education. And by giving you the right knowledge, it's my hope that you'll apply it to your own business and be able to live your own dream life. Okay, so how do photographers mess up branding? Well, first, let me tell you the definition of branding again. It's our reputation. That's the simplest way to put it. What do photographers do to build up their brand? Well, they hire someone to design them a beautiful logo. They spend weeks or months trying to think of a perfect name for their business. They create an incredible website with beautiful photography. And while this stuff is important, nowhere did we address our reputation here. People hire photographers for the results they want, and a pretty logo and a nice name doesn't tell anyone that we actually have provided any results. I'll get into what we should focus on in just a second here, but let's talk about what this misconception stems from. This misconception comes from beginner photographers looking up at pro photographers and trying to replicate what the pros are currently doing. And while a lot of the time this is a good practice, a photographer that has had 50 clients under their belt operates their business differently than someone with 0 clients or maybe just a handful of clients. We're looking at what they're currently doing, not what they did to get to where they are. Let me say that again. When we look up to pro photographers, we see what they're currently doing, not what it took them to get to where they are today. An example that we can use for this to make more sense is flying private or flying first class. Millionaires tend to fly private. If we want to become millionaires, should we fly private too? No, of course not. Our time is not as valuable. We need to focus on the things they did to become millionaires, not what they are currently doing. So how does all this tie back into photography branding? Let's zoom out here for just a second. Why do photographers think they need a brand to begin with? Is it to have a great looking website, portfolio, logo, name, and social media presence? I mean, sure, but is that it? No, there's a deeper meaning behind this. Why do photographers want these things? Ultimately, it's going to be because they want clients. They want to make money, and they want to get the time freedom to do what they love to do every single day. So if this is our goal, our ultimate goal, we need to change our approach to meet this goal. I'm going to present you with 2 different approaches here. Approach number 1, we start by building a brand right at the start. Our goal is to create a beautiful logo, website, social presence, and help our reputation. We spend all our time building our company from within and make it into what we think will be amazing. This could work, but if we don't seek feedback and actually prove that people want what we're selling, then we'll spend all this time building a company and we'll still have 0 clients at the end of it. We will have spent years and nothing to show for it. Approach number 2. We don't start with brand. We start with solutions to problems. What do I mean by this? Well, the only way to get someone to pay you for your photography services is if you can solve a specific problem for them. A problem could be that they aren't getting any swipes or dates on Tinder, so you take great photos of them and solve that problem. Another problem is that a restaurant isn't getting DoorDash orders, so you improve their online photography presence and they get more orders. There are thousands of problems like this that you can solve. You pick a niche, you find a problem, you create an offer, and then you pitch that offer to see if there's actually a need for what you're offering now. You identify early on whether there's actually money in the service you want to provide. This is called identifying product market fit. Maybe you've heard this term before, but it's one of the hardest things to do in business. But once you identify that product market fit, you can build your company on top of that. You can do this within months, not years. Approach number 1 focuses on us. We think we know what people want, so we risk it all and build a company around that. I don't know about you, but I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I don't really know what people want until they tell me. And in business, they tell me with their money. Approach number 2 focuses on other people. We propose solutions to problems, we see what sticks, and then once we know what other people want, we build a business on top of that. So at this point, you're probably nodding along because you know approach number 2 is the easiest, least risky, and fastest way to build a creative business that makes us money. Now, I mentioned that we propose solutions to problems and find clients through that. That is much easier said than done. What I teach all my Creative Biz Launch students is a systemized sales process. This pretty much means that if you put in X amount of time, then you get Y clients out. This is the dream, right? Now, this video is not about building out a sales system, it's about branding. But to give you an idea of what a sales system is, first we find our niche, then we build our offer, then we use cold outreach to get our offer in front of people. This means finding businesses or people that we believe can benefit from our offer, and then we tell them about that offer. You can do this through cold DMs on Instagram or Twitter. Cold email is another great way to do this, or if you work with local businesses, cold approaching them is another great way you can do this. If you want to learn more about the sales process, join the dozens of students inside of Creative Biz Launch. The waitlist is down below. Okay, so we have clients and we know our offer actually makes us money. How do we build a business on top of that? Where does branding come in? Well, I mentioned that branding is the reputation that you have. And when it comes to working with clients, reputation usually means an incredible customer experience. As photographers, an incredible customer experience obviously means delivering the best photos possible. But there's so much more to it than just that. An incredible customer experience starts from the minute you make contact with the client. Every message, every phone call you have has to be professional. You want them to feel heard. You want to be respectful of them. Throughout the entire process of working together, you need to do everything in your power to provide the best customer experience. Why does customer experience matter? Yes, we said we're building a brand, but how exactly? Well, a good customer experience gets you better testimonials that you can put on your website. A good customer experience will get you better case studies that you can add to your website as well. When the customer experience is good, your referral rate is going to go up. When your past clients begin talking to their friends or their peers, they'll only have good things to say about you. If you deliver photos in a matter of days rather than weeks, this does a lot for your customer experience and it does a lot for your brand. Let's do a quick thought experiment. If you were hiring a photographer, what would you want them to do so that the customer experience was truly world class? This is how we build our brand. We provide the best customer experience possible, and through that, word of mouth begins to become a thing for our business. We have an amazing offer and an amazing customer experience, and now our past clients are telling their friends about us through word of mouth. This is huge for our reputation. Now at this point, let's start talking the minor details which don't really matter at the start, but now are beginning to matter a bit. This is going to be things like your logo, your website, maybe even your name. We know that people are willing to pay us, so we've built up a solid foundation. It's time to really bring it all together. We now have money coming in the door, so we can actually afford to pay a designer for an incredible website and logo. We can create an amazing brand aesthetic. We can begin to use this across all of our platforms. We can now pretty everything up. When I think brand for my own photography company, I first prioritized that customer experience I talked about. I mastered it. My turnaround times were 3 to 5 days. I had a very streamlined pre-production process, and everything was uniform client to client. I even have a money-back guarantee. After I mastered these things, what are the things I can devote some time to? Number 1, a logo. Hire a designer, go through their process, and really nail that logo down. Then we can go ahead and talk about a uniform website and social media presence. This is everything from the same fonts to the same copywriting style throughout the website. It's important to make sure that we have the same color palette that we can use across the board. From this, we can create assets that we can share across social media, and any ads that we run. This is the stage where you can work with a designer to really pretty up everything. Remember, we've created something incredible and then we wrapped it up in pretty paper. We have our core business that is an amazing offer, and the design is just added as a cherry on top. We're not taking a pile of crap and putting a bow on it. We're figuring out what people want, building it, and then making it pretty. If you don't want to go through the steps of figuring this out yourself, we teach this inside of Creative Biz Launch. Waitlist down below. Hope to see you in there. Now at this point, we've reached the level of that pro photographer I was talking about, and we did it in less time because we focused on the fundamentals first rather than the superfluous details that don't really matter that much. If you want any success in the creative space, that should be your takeaway today. Focus on the big picture things, not the details that don't matter. That's all I got today. My name is Chris Pieta. I know your time is valuable, so thank you for spending it here. See you next time.